Discovery of the Void. Commander Sarah Chen stood at the helm of the Terra Explorer, her dark eyes fixed on the vast emptiness ahead. The exploration vessel's sensors had picked up something unusual in this remote sector of the Outer Rim, energy signatures unlike anything recorded in the Federation's extensive databases. "Commander, you need to see this." Lieutenant Rodriguez's voice carried an edge of excitement she'd never heard from the usually stoic sensor officer. "The readings, they're getting stronger." Chen moved to his station, her boots making soft clicks against the polished deck. The holographic display showed a massive collection of objects scattered across several thousand kilometers of space. As the Terra Explorer drew closer, their true nature became clear: ships. Hundreds of them. Initial scans suggest these vessels are at least 15,000 years old, Rodriguez reported, his fingers dancing across the controls. But the energy signatures, they're still active somehow. The ancient fleet hung motionless against the backdrop of stars, their dark hulls absorbing what little light reached this distant corner of space. Most were enormous, dwarfing even the largest modern Federation battleships. Their design was unlike anything in known space, sleek yet powerful, with flowing lines that seemed to defy conventional engineering. "Open a channel to Federation Command," Chen ordered. "Priority 1. The response was almost immediate. Admiral Voss's hologram materialized on the bridge, his reptilian features set in their usual stern expression. The Saurian official was known for his dismissive attitude toward human explorers. "Commander Chen," he said, voice dripping with barely concealed disdain. "This had better warrant interrupting the council session." Chen transmitted the sensor data. "Sir, we've discovered what appears to be an ancient fleet. The technology level suggests—" "Ah, yes," Voss interrupted, mandibles clicking in amusement. "Another collection of primitive vessels." "Commander, surely you understand that size alone doesn't indicate technological sophistication. Many ancient species built large simply because they lacked efficiency." "Sir, with respect, these readings suggest—" "I'll dispatch a salvage team to assess any useful materials," Voss cut in again. "Continue your assigned patrol route. We wouldn't want to waste your time with archaeological curiosities." The transmission ended, leaving Chen seething with frustration. She'd spent 15 years with the Federation Exploration Corps, earning her command through merit rather than the political connections most alien officers relied upon. Yet every discovery by human crews was dismissed, every achievement minimized. "Ma'am." Rodriguez's voice pulled her from her thoughts. "There's something else. The energy signatures. They're changing." Chen returned to his station, studying the new readings. The patterns were shifting, becoming more organized, more deliberate. "Launch a probe," she ordered. "Full sensor package. If the Federation won't take this seriously, we'll gather enough evidence to make them listen." As the probe detached from the Terra Explorer's hull, none of the crew noticed the subtle changes occurring throughout the ancient fleet. Deep within the massive vessels, systems that had lain dormant for millennia began to stir. Faint lights, invisible to normal sensors, pulsed in complex sequences that hadn't been seen since before recorded history. The probe's first transmission showed details that made Chen's heart race. The ship's architecture, the spacing of corridors, the size of doorways. Everything was perfectly proportioned for human use. But that was impossible. Humanity had only achieved faster than light travel 3 centuries ago. "Commander," Rodriguez's voice cracked with urgency. The probe found markings on one of the hulls. "You need to see this." The image appeared on the main screen, showing symbols etched into the ancient metal. Chen felt her breath catch. The markings were weathered by thousands of years in space, but still clearly legible. Written in an archaic script that predated modern language was a single word: TERA. "Upload everything to my personal database," Chen ordered. "And plot a course into the fleet. We're going aboard." As the Terra Explorer moved deeper into the ancient Armada, lights began to flicker to life across the massive vessels. Deep within their hulls, artificial intelligences older than human civilization, stirred from their long slumber. They had waited patiently for tens of thousands of years, protecting humanity's greatest secret. Now, at last, their children had returned home. The Federation's mockery of humanity was about to confront a truth that would shake the galaxy to its foundations. But for now, Commander Chen and her crew could only prepare to board the ancient vessels, unaware that they were about to uncover the true history of their species and their destiny among the stars. Echoes of ancestry. The boarding shuttle glided silently through the void, approaching the largest of the ancient vessels. Commander Chen studied the massive ship through the viewport, its hull gleaming with an otherworldly sheen despite millennia of exposure to space. Behind her, Dr. Maya Patel, the expedition's chief archaeologist, couldn't contain her excitement. "The metal composition is like nothing we've ever seen," Patel said, reviewing scan data on her tablet. "It's not just durable. It's self-repairing at the molecular level. Even after 15,000 years, the structural integrity is nearly perfect." The shuttle's lights illuminated the ship's name, etched in those same ancient characters, HYPERO. As they drew closer, more details became visible. The vessel's design was both elegant and practical, with none of the ceremonial flourishes common to other ancient spacefaring civilizations. "Look at the weapon emplacements," Lieutenant Rodriguez noted from the pilot's seat. "They're not decorative like Saurian war trophies. These were built for actual combat." The shuttle passed through the massive vessel's shield perimeter, still active after thousands of years, and approached what appeared to be a landing bay. As they drew near, lights began activating automatically, illuminating a space large enough to hold dozens of modern shuttles. "The bay's atmospheric containment field is still functioning," Rodriguez reported, amazement clear in his voice. "Air composition. It's perfect for human breathing." "That's impossible," Patel whispered. "The odds of an alien species evolving to require exactly the same atmospheric mix as humans." "Unless they didn't," Chen finished the thought. "Unless they were human." The shuttle touched down gently on the ancient deck. Through their suit's sensors, they could detect that the bay had pressurized automatically. The ship was welcoming them home. As the team stepped onto the deck, their boots made the same familiar sound they'd make on any human vessel. The gravity was exactly Earth normal. Every detail, from the height of the doorways to the spacing of maintenance access panels, was perfectly suited for human use. "Commander," Rodriguez called out, his scanner revealing something new. "I'm detecting power signatures throughout the ship. They're getting stronger." Deep within the Hyperion, ancient systems continued their reactivation sequence. The vessel's quantum eye, more advanced than anything in the modern galaxy, assessed the genetic markers of its visitors. Finding matches to its original creators, it began executing protocols that had waited millennia to be triggered. The team made their way deeper into the ship, following corridors that could have been designed yesterday rather than eons ago. They found no bodies, no signs of battle or catastrophe. It was as if the crew had simply stepped away, knowing they would eventually return. "Look at this," Patel said, stopping at what appeared to be a computer terminal. As she approached, the screen flickered to life, responding to her presence. The interface, it's intuitive, like it was designed for human minds. Before Chen could respond, her communicator crackled with an urgent message from the Terra Explorer. "Commander, Federation vessels just dropped out of hyperspace. 3 heavy cruisers, bearing the insignia of Admiral Voss's command." "Already?" Chen muttered. They couldn't have received authorization from the Council this quickly. "Ma'am," her first officer's voice was tense. "They're demanding we withdraw immediately. They're claiming this is now a restricted military zone." Chen was about to respond when something extraordinary happened. The terminal Patel had approached suddenly projected a massive hologram throughout the chamber. Star charts appeared, showing the galaxy as it had existed 15,000 years ago. And at the center of a vast network of inhabited systems was Earth. "By all the stars," Patel breathed. This isn't just some ancient alien fleet. This is our fleet. Humanity's fleet. The hologram shifted, showing scenes from an era of human civilization that predated all known history. Massive cities that put modern achievements to shame. Ships that could traverse galaxies. Technology that bordered on magic. Why don't we remember this? Rodriguez wondered aloud. How could we forget? As if in response, the ship's AI spoke for the first time, its voice resonating with an authority that transcended time itself. Memory suppression was deemed necessary. The Great Sleep was initiated to protect humanity from a threat they were not yet ready to face. But now, the children of Terra have returned, and the time of awakening is at hand. Outside, the Federation cruisers took up attack positions around the ancient fleet. Admiral Voss's voice boomed across all frequencies. This is your final warning. These relics are now under Federation control. Withdraw or be fired upon. But within the Hyperion, something vast and powerful was stirring. Humanity was about to remember who they truly were, and the galaxy would never be the same. Deep in the ship's core, a quantum beacon activated, sending a signal to the rest of the ancient fleet. One by one, lights began appearing across the massive vessels. The legacy of humanity's first stellar empire was awakening, and with it, the truth about Earth's children was about to reshape the galaxy's balance of power. The awakening. Admiral Voss stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Federation's pride, watching with growing unease as the ancient vessels began to illuminate one by one. What had seemed like derelict hulks moments ago were now coming alive with patterns of energy that defied modern scanning technology. "Sir," his tactical officer reported, mandibles clicking nervously. "Energy readings are off the scale. These ships, they're not just activating, they're evolving." Inside the Hyperion, Commander Chen and her team watched in awe as the ship's systems continued to wake. Holographic displays filled the bridge, showing the positions of both fleets and streaming data faster than human eyes could follow. "Look at this," Dr. Paddle said, studying the ship's technical readouts. "Their quantum processors don't just compute, they manipulate reality itself. The Federation's most advanced AI would be like an abacus in comparison." The ship's AI spoke again, its voice resonating with calm authority. "Primary defense systems online. Quantum shield grid activating. Warning, hostile forces detected." "Wait," Chen called out. "We don't want to hurt them. They don't understand what they're dealing with." "Acknowledged," the AI responded. Non-lethal containment protocols engaged. On the Federation's pride, alarms began blaring. "Sir," the tactical officer shouted, "their shields, they're not like anything we've ever encountered. The energy patterns suggest." "Suggest what?" Voss demanded. "They're not just defensive barriers, sir. They're selective quantum fields. They could allow a particle of dust to pass through or stop a planet in its tracks." Voss's scales darkened with anger. "Launch fighters. Full spread of quantum torpedoes. Let's show these humans what real military power looks like." The Federation ships launched their attack, fighters swarming out like angry insects, while energy weapons lanced toward the ancient fleet. But something impossible happened. The weapons' fire simply vanished, not deflected, not absorbed, but transformed. "Incredible," Rodriguez whispered, watching the tactical display aboard the Hyperion. "Their quantum fields aren't just stopping the attacks. They're converting the energy into usable power. They're feeding off the Federation's weapons." The ancient fleet began to move. Ships larger than cities maneuvered with impossible grace, their movements defying known physics. They flowed around the Federation vessels like water around stones in a stream, each movement precise and purposeful. "Sir," the Federation tactical officer's voice cracked. "Our fighters, they're being contained. Some kind of energy bubbles are just catching them. No damage, but they're completely immobilized." Voss slammed his clawed fist against his command chair. "Impossible. These are primitives. Their technology should be obsolete." "Admiral," Chen's voice came through on all frequencies. Stand down. These ships aren't just advanced. They're beyond anything either of us fully understands. They were left here for humanity to find when we were ready. Please, don't force them to demonstrate their full capabilities. But Voss was beyond reason. All ships, concentrate fire on the Hyperion. Full power to weapons. The Federation cruisers unleashed everything they had, their combined firepower enough to shatter a small moon. The energy beams struck the Hyperion's quantum shields and transformed into a beautiful display of flowing light that spiraled around the ancient vessel before being absorbed completely. Fascinating, the Hyperion's AI commented. Their weapons technology, while primitive, is quite energetic. We are now at 147% power capacity. Shall I demonstrate some of our actual capabilities? Before Chen could respond, the AI acted. A pulse of energy, gentle but unstoppable, rippled out from the ancient fleet. Every Federation system simply stopped. Engines, weapons, shields, even life support switched to emergency backup power. What did you do to our ships? Voss demanded, his voice shaking for the first time. A simple quantum reorganization of your power distribution systems, the AI replied. Don't worry, we made sure to maintain life support and artificial gravity. We're not barbarians, after all. Throughout the ancient fleet, more systems were coming online. What had begun as a simple reactivation was becoming something more. The ships weren't just awakening. They were evolving, adapting, becoming even more advanced than they had been when they were first built. Dr. Patel, Chen called out, what are you seeing in the historical data? Why did our ancestors leave these ships here? Patel's eyes were wide as she scrolled through the quantum database. Commander, these ships weren't abandoned. They were waiting. There's something out there, something our ancestors encountered that humanity wasn't ready to face. They didn't just leave us these ships, they left us a warning. Deep in the quantum processors of the ancient fleet, a countdown had begun. The children of Earth had finally returned to claim their legacy, but with that legacy came a responsibility none of them could have imagined. The true test of humanity was about to begin. Legacy restored. The holographic chamber deep within the Hyperion hummed with energy as images of humanity's forgotten past played out before the stunned crew. Dr. Patel's fingers flew across the ancient controls, each new revelation more astonishing than the last. It's all here, she breathed, her voice filled with wonder. Our entire history, not just technology and star charts, but the reason why our ancestors chose to start over, why they returned to Earth and wiped away all memory of what we had been. Commander Chen watched as scenes from humanity's first stellar empire filled the chamber. Cities that spanned entire planets, ships that could fold space itself, achievements that made their current civilization look like children playing with toys. 15,000 years ago, the AI explained, humanity faced a choice. Our empire spanned 3 galaxies. Our technology had evolved beyond physical limitations. We had become nearly gods. What happened? Rodriguez asked, his eyes fixed on images of vast space-borne structures that dwarfed solar systems. We discovered something ancient, something that had been waiting since the beginning of time itself. And we realized we weren't ready to face it, not as we were. The images shifted, showing a darkness between galaxies. Something vast, patient, hungry. The Empire's leadership made an unprecedented decision, the AI continued. Rather than face this threat in our existing state, humanity would start over. Evolution had taken us down a path of pure technological advancement, but we needed something more. We needed to grow in a different way. On the bridge of the Federation's Pride, Admiral Voss watched helplessly as more of the ancient fleet awakened. His ships hung powerless in space, their most basic systems barely functioning under the quantum lock imposed by the Hyperion. Sir, his science officer reported, the energy readings from these vessels, they're rewriting our understanding of physics. The power required to maintain their quantum fields would drain our entire fleet's reactors in seconds, but they're generating it effortlessly. Impossible, Voss muttered, but there was no conviction in his voice anymore. They're just humans. Primitives. New to the stars. No. Chen's voice came through their still-functioning communications. We're not new to the stars, Admiral. We're returning to them, and we have a lot to remember. Back in the Hyperion's holographic chamber, Dr. Patel had found something that made her blood run cold. Commander, the threat our ancestors faced, it's still out there. And according to these readings, it's beginning to wake up. The AI's voice took on a more urgent tone. Correct. The Great Sleep was calculated to last until humanity had evolved the specific traits needed to face this challenge. Not just technological advancement, but something more fundamental. The capacity for innovation under pressure. Adaptability. The unique human trait of becoming stronger through adversity. The Federation, Chen realized. All their mockery, their dismissal of human achievements. It forced us to work harder, to think differently, to prove ourselves. Indeed, the AI confirmed. The Federation's attitude, while unpleasant, served a vital role in humanity's development. But now the time for such tests is over. The true challenge approaches. Throughout the ancient fleet, more systems were activating. But they weren't simply returning to their original state. They were adapting, evolving, incorporating 15,000 years of accumulated knowledge into their quantum networks. We're detecting massive energy signatures from the fleet, Rodriguez reported, checking his instruments. The ships aren't just awakening anymore. They're upgrading themselves. The AI's voice resonated through every ship in both fleets. Protocol Omega initiated, beginning integration of modern human advancement with ancestral technology. The children of Earth have exceeded original developmental parameters. Evolution successful. Admiral Voss watched in stunned silence as the ancient vessels began to transform. Their hulls flowed like liquid metal, quantum fields reshaping matter at the subatomic level. What emerged was something that transcended both the old and the new, a perfect fusion of humanity's past glory and their hard-won recent achievements. Admiral, Chen called out, her voice firm but not unkind. The Federation needs to understand something. Humanity didn't just stumble onto the galactic stage as newcomers. We returned to it, deliberately, after choosing to restart our own evolution. And now, we need all species to stand together against what's coming. The holographic chamber filled with new images, star charts showing something massive moving in the dark space between galaxies, something that had been sleeping almost as long as humanity's ancient empire had been gone. And now, just as humanity was remembering its true nature, that ancient threat was beginning to stir. Stars remember. The vast darkness between galaxies stirred. Something ancient, older than humanity's first empire, older perhaps than the galaxies themselves, began to move. Across the quantum networks of the awakened fleet, sensors that had waited 15,000 years to serve their purpose began sending data. Multiple quantum disturbances detected in intergalactic space, the Hyperion's AI announced. The entity approaches. Time to intercept, 72 hours. Commander Chen stood in the newly evolved bridge of the Hyperion, watching as the holographic displays showed the thing their ancestors had retreated from. It was vast beyond comprehension, a being of dark energy and twisted spacetime that made stars look like atoms in comparison. This is why they went back, Dr. Patel whispered, studying the ancient records. Our ancestors knew that pure technological advancement wasn't enough. They needed humanity to evolve specific traits: creativity, adaptability, the ability to see solutions where none seemed to exist. Admiral Voss, now aboard the Hyperion after accepting Chen's invitation, watched the displays with his scales pale with fear. All our assumptions about humans, we were so wrong. That's what made us perfect for this challenge, Chen replied. Every time the Federation dismissed us, forced us to prove ourselves, you were helping us develop exactly what we needed. The ability to think differently, to find ways around seemingly impossible obstacles. The quantum networks hummed as the ancient fleet continued its transformation, incorporating modern human innovations into their ancestral technology. What emerged was something entirely new, a perfect synthesis of human ingenuity across millennia. Alert, the AI announced. The entity is accelerating. New intercept time, 36 hours. Its senses are awakening. Chen turned to Voss. Admiral, we need the Federation's help, not their technology. We need their perspective. Different species see problems differently. Together, we might see something our ancestors missed. For the first time in his life, Voss set aside his prejudices completely. You have the full support of the Federation, Commander. Though I doubt our weapons will be of much use against that. Not weapons, Dr. Patil interjected, excitement in her voice. Look at these readings. The entity isn't just massive. It's a quantum anomaly. It exists in multiple states simultaneously. That's why our ancestors couldn't defeat it. They were trying to fight something that wasn't entirely real. But we've learned something since then, Rodriguez added, understanding dawning in his eyes. Federation quantum theory combined with these ancient ships, we might be able to collapse its quantum state, Chen finished. Force it to exist in a single reality where it can be confronted. The Hyperion's AI seemed to approve. Correct. The synthesis of multiple species perspectives has revealed a solution that was not apparent before, initiating fleet-wide quantum field modifications. Throughout the ancient Armada, energy patterns shifted. The ships were no longer just defensive platforms. They were becoming something else. A vast quantum web began to form between them, creating a field that would force anything within it to exist in a single defined state of reality. Energy requirements will be beyond anything ever attempted, the AI warned. Even our quantum reactors cannot generate sufficient power. The Federation fleet, Voss said suddenly. Our weapons. You said they generate usable energy when they hit your quantum shields. What if we fired everything we have into your field network? Would that help? It would, the AI confirmed. The unique properties of Federation quantum weapons, while primitive, would add a harmonic resonance to the field that could increase its effectiveness by 47%. Chen looked at Voss. Admiral, you'd be sacrificing your fleet's entire energy reserves. The ships would be powerless. To save our galaxy, to make up for centuries of dismissing humanity's potential, it seems a small price. The entity drew closer, its vast form distorting space itself. Stars dimmed in its passage, reality warped around its edges. But humanity and their former doubters stood ready. All Federation ships, Voss commanded, concentrate fire on the quantum field generators. Maximum power to weapons. Show these humans what the Federation can really do. The space between galaxies lit up with energy as Federation weapons poured power into the ancient fleet's quantum web. The Hyperion's AI coordinated the effort, weaving the power into an ever-strengthening field of pure reality. The entity struck the field, and for the first time in its ancient existence, found itself forced into a single state of being. Its multiple quantum possibilities collapsed into one reality, and in that moment, it became vulnerable. Field stability at maximum, the AI reported. The entity is contained. Quantum collapse proceeding. Chen watched as the thing that had haunted humanity's ancestors began to shrink. Its vast form compressed into a single reality it was never meant to fully inhabit. The combined power of humanity's past and present, merged with the unique perspectives of their former rivals, had accomplished what neither civilization could have done alone. Look, Dr. Patil said softly as the entity continued to collapse. The stars. You can see them through where it used to be. Indeed, where the vast darkness had been, stars now shone clearly. The threat that had caused humanity's ancient empire to restart their own evolution was finally defeated, not through superior firepower or advanced technology alone, but through the combination of different species working together. seeing solutions that no single perspective could have revealed. This, Chen said to Voss, is why we came back. Not just to remember who we were, but to become something better. Something that could only emerge from struggle, from having to prove ourselves, from learning to see things differently. The Admiral nodded, understanding at last. Perhaps it is time for the Federation to evolve as well. Above them, the stars shone brighter than ever, as if celebrating the union of past and present, of different species and perspectives, that had finally confronted the darkness between galaxies. Humanity had not just reclaimed their legacy, they had transcended it, proving that their greatest strength lay not in their ancient power, but in their ability to grow, to adapt, and to bring together different viewpoints to solve impossible problems. The ancient fleet hung in space, transformed now into something entirely new, a symbol of how the past and present could combine to create an even greater future. And in the quantum networks that connected them all, the AI began recording a new chapter in human history, not of an empire that fled from an impossible threat, but of a species that had found its true strength in unity, adaptation, and the power of diverse perspectives.